Hello everyone, welcome to Eemaan's Garden channel. Today I want to show you all my house plants. I wanted to start from my bedroom plants. As you see in front of you, lots of orchids. Here I keep some of my orchids and they are in bloom now. As you see on the windowsill, here is Wanda Orchid, which is blooming, and some Wandas, they are not blooming, and they bloomed in summertime, and this Wanda is blooming now. And here I have on the shelf my Dendrobium orchids, two colors, red and white. They're blooming too. And on this shelf I have all my mini orchids, they're in blooms too. And on the lowest shelf I have some big orchids and they're blooming also. Let me show you closer my plants. Let's start from the Wanda Orchid. This Wanda is in full bloom now. It's so pretty. Its name is Culivadi Fragrance. As you see, from any side you look to this Wanda, you see the same ball-shaped blooms. It's so pretty. When you look at it, it makes your eyes happy. I'm so happy. I look to this Wanda every day and I enjoy with the blooms. And this orchid, which is on the topest shelf, I love this orchid too. This is my Phalaenopsis Orchid. Let me take it and show you closer. This is Phalaenopsis. Look at the flowers, how they're pretty. And now the last bud was blasted. I don't know what was the reason. Probably I didn't water this orchid on time. It was thirsty, that's why it blasted its bud, and now it's continuing forming new buds. As you see, it's growing. It's so pretty. And here I have one purple orchid which is blooming too. It's from the last year's spike. It didn't grow new spike, it decided to bloom from the old spike. From one spike it grew secondary spike and it's blooming, and here is another spike which is growing. And on this shelf I have again Phalaenopsis Orchid. Here, which is blooming from the old spike. It grew secondary spike. As you see, not mealybugs, the spider mites attacked to this orchid, and the spike is looking brown. Then I sprayed some pesticide, and see, this spike is brown, but still it's growing. Now it doesn't have any spider mites. And here I have two orphans. I call them orphans because they don't have mom. See, this orchid, I lost it when I put this orchid under the rain. It was like this and I broke it. I put this mom orchid under the rain, and after the rain stopped, I forgot to take them in, and they were under the full sun, and the sun burned the mom leaves, all the leaves, and they started decaying. And the two babies from this baby, I had lots of leaves, and some of the leaves were burned too, and these two leaves are safe. And on this orchid, you see, there was nothing left, and all the leaves fell off, And then I didn't want to throw away this orchid. I waited until what will happen, to see what will happen. And later on, this orchid started growing new baby. And this orchid I am taking care of as is. It stays here, and whenever I want to water my other orchids, I put this baby orchids in the water, and when the roots look green, and you know, I take them out and put here. I stick in my Dendrobium pot, just like this, and they are growing. Here I have my Dendrobium. These Dendrobiums didn't do well. They were in small pot, in plastic pot, and I didn't change the old medium. It was in its own medium, which I bought from the store, till 2 years, and then I decided to replant this Dendrobium because it was not doing well. Most of the plants were dying. That's why I replanted in a clay pot, and I see that Dendrobium orchids, they love sphagnum moss and clay pot. They are doing pretty well. As you see, it bloomed and it's growing. See, in this pot it's growing new baby, and it's forming lots of babies. And this one, as you see, this big Dendrobium was dying also. You see it here is lots of dry canes. They were dying, and I decided to replant it in a bigger pot, in a clay pot, as you see. And this Dendrobium started doing well also, and it decided to grow baby from the old cane, you see. And I wanted to root these babies and put some sphagnum moss here. And now these babies, they think that they are growing in the pot because here is a sphagnum moss, and they, you know, they are spreading a lot. That one baby started growing another babies, and now I have lots of them. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 babies I have in here. And look at this white Dendrobium. It's so pretty. I will talk about this Dendrobium later. It's a different topic. And let's move. Here I have my orchids. This is very interesting way to grow Oncidium orchid. Look, I will talk about this orchids later too. See, it's blooming now, and it's so pretty. And here I have my Phalaenopsis mini orchids. This orchid blooms for me every single year, but I did mistake this year, and that's why I don't have lots of blooms. Usually this how to call basket or something, this container pot, it looks full of flowers usually, and this year I don't have much. As you see, this orchid is in full bloom. Now it's growing again, continuing growing the spike, and here I have another spike growing. Here I have another spike growing. So this orchid is so happy. I have dry leaf here. And why I am saying that it's not full, that I did mistake. When I was watering this orchid, this one, see, all of them are blooming. This one, when I was watering it, I broke the spike, see? Otherwise, I would have full blooms looking towards the light, towards the window. When my orchids are blooming, I don't change their direction. I keep them as is. If you change the direction, you will not have lots of flowers. The buds can be blasted. And here my white mini orchid. Oh, I need to be so careful. Here I have my mini orchid. It's white also. See, it's so pretty. And here another white one. I didn't even put the spike to hold these flowers, because this spike, you know, the stick, I mean stick, I didn't put any stick to hold this spike. This spike is growing weird. It went down, then it went up again. That's why it's impossible to put any spike, any stick to hold this spike. And here I have other mini orchid. It's so interesting. It's not even in the pot. Let me show you here. This one, see, it's mini orchid, but it's so long. It's huge spike. I will put my hand and you can see how long this spike is. See, I can put two hands to measure the size. And this one is so interesting. Look at this one. This one is not in the pot. I wanted to make a video about this orchid. I wanted to share something which I know, and I took it out from the pot long time ago and see how this orchid is doing. It's not even in the pot, and how these roots are growing. It has pointed tips, and this orchid is blooming pretty. Look at this. It's different. The flowers are different. They look like bell. See, I keep this orchid just like this. I need to replant this, but now, for now, it's doing great. Here, another mini orchid. Let me put it back. Here, I love this color. This one, it's peach color. And over there I have yellow ones, if you can see. I can talk about each orchid separately. Each orchid has its own history, I mean. And here I have my big Phalaenopsis orchids. They're so pretty. And this one, this yellow one, it was mini orchid, and look at this, the size. You cannot differentiate between the mini and the normal big size orchid. This one is mini. It was mini when I bought it, and now look at the flowers. They are big, and the plant is also huge. Look at this. Look at the leaves. They are huge. And this orchid, look, it's blooming. About this orchid I need to talk separately. And here I have this orchid. It's in full bloom now. Only one bud is left. Here, look, you can see from the back how many flowers it has. It has lots of flowers, and this orchid is so healthy. And look at the leaves. They are huge leaves and healthy, and it has lots of air roots. Look how pretty is this. Recently I put this stick to hold this spike, because the spike is so heavy it might broke. That's why I put the stick to hold these flowers, these beautiful flowers. Look at this. It's so pretty. I need to take picture about this orchid. Of this orchid. And here I have my look at this orchid. It's so pretty also. Let me put this back. And here is this white one, and over there I have my photos. And let me show you my Monstera plant. I propagated it from the leaf, from a single leaf. Now it's huge and it's growing its roots outside the pot. Here I have my Monstera. It's really Monstera. It's monster plant. I propagated this plant from the single leaf, and now you see every time when it grows a new leaf, it becomes the stem. The stem becomes huge and huge. It's fatter and fatter every time. And look at the roots where they are growing. They're crawling, and they found the pot which is staying in the corner. My son made this pot for me when he was at school. It's funny pot, and my Monstera found that pot and it's going there. And here I have my other plants, my Hoyas. I love this Hoya. This is my new Hoya, and look at this. During the winter it grew a lot. It grew long size. Look, here are some branches. Look, it's so happy. It loves this place. I was keeping this Hoya outside. During the summer it didn't grow outside, and when I took it inside the house, it started growing crazy, and it's going even up towards the ceiling. And here I have my other Hoya carnosa. It's doing great. And here I have my caned begonias. I love this begonia. Someday I will make about this begonia different video if I would find time. With timing I have problem. This begonia I propagated in summertime. It was only one cutting, and now it grows huge size, and it has lots of babies which are growing underneath. Someday I will make about this begonia separate video. I need to talk and share with you guys something about this begonia. And here I have my Peperomia plant. It looks great and cute. Look at this. It was small plant in this kind of 1-inch pots. Look, in this kind of small pot, it was small plant with tiny. Look at this. It's small tiny pot, and this plant was in this kind of pot. It was small plant with tiny 3 leaves. I showed in one of my videos this Peperomia, and then it started growing and growing and growing. Look at this. The stem, it's hardy like a tree, and I didn't like to grow it, to continue growing, and I cut from this part, from this place, and now it's looking more rich. It has lots of leaves, and here it grew 3 babies. Look, and the top part I planted in a different pot. Look how this Peperomia is doing great. It was on the shelf with my orchids in my kitchen, but it didn't like my kitchen, and when I put this Peperomia on the ceiling, windowsill, it started growing crazy. I love this plant. And here I have my hibiscus. I have lots of hibiscus plants. One of them I decided to put in my bedroom because it had lots of buds, and I wanted to see this blooms every day and enjoy with the flowers. Look, yesterday it bloomed. I had 2 flowers yesterday, and today they are fading, and here another bud is ready to bloom. Here I have my Jasmine plant. It's feeling that spring is coming and it's growing longer and no longer. And let's move to other rooms. This is my living room, and I have here my poto plant. I propagated this plant last year in summer. As you see, this pot, this huge pot, is full with a poto plant. It's doing great. I love this plant. It doesn't need more light. As you see, this room is not bright, and even though it's doing great. Here I have my Dracaena. It's huge size. It reached the ceiling. I covered the pot with a box because my cats love to dig the pot. That's why I covered it. Here, this Dracaena, it bloomed for me once, and I like the fragrance. It's so strong. Every night it starts blooming, and you can see the flowers for months. It's so pretty and it's so fragrant. If you don't have this plant, I recommend you to have one. If it blooms for you, you would be so grateful. And here I have my 2 hibiscus plants. They are both pink color. Now they stopped blooming. They had lots of flowers. Why I put these plants here? Because on this table I do my studies. That's why I wanted to see the beautiful blooms every day. And during this winter it grew a lot. It's high hibiscus now. It's very tall. It's almost reaching the ceiling. And let's move. In this room I have some of my plants, some Dracaenas, and here I have my Hoya. It's doing great. This is Hindu rogue Hoya. I have 2, I have a lot of them. The huge ones I have 2, and one I keep here and the other one I have in my laundry room. And as you see here, I have some orchids which I need to replant them. This orchid grew baby, and here 2 orchids sharing one pot, and here my other orchid. And here I have my rose plants. Somebody gave these rose plants to me because they were frozen, and I took them. I started taking care of them, and it's lost all old leaves. They became brown and crispy like this, and I cleaned this rose, and now as you see, it's growing new branches. These are all new. See, these are baby branches, and see, the flowers were even frozen and now they are dry. Here I have my Anthurium plant. I moved this Anthurium in different places. I kept it in different rooms. Now I put this plant here. I see this Anthurium loves to be in here. And here I have my Dracaena and other one here, the variegated one. And I love this plant. I propagated this plant myself long time ago, and it's doing great. Every summer it blooms for me, and I have full of flowers when it started blooming for me. And let's move on. Here I have another poto plant. From this poto, it was only one branch and it grew long size. I don't know how this plant can grow like this, crazy. and I cut the branches and I put in water and I plant in different pots, and that way I had a lot of them. Here my Dracaena, the other one. Look, it's reaching the ceiling too. And the pot is very tiny for this plant. I need to replant this plant every day when I make coffee. In my coffee machine, I put coffee in here. As you see, look. And I need to change the pot because it's tiny pot. I need to replant this plant in a bigger pot. Here I have Tradescantia plant. It's amazing plant. I love this plant also because it grows very fast and it looks pretty. Look how it's looking. Oh, I need to be careful. Look at this plant. It's pretty. If you hang this plant, it allows to be in this position. I need to rotate sometimes this plant because, as you see on this side, it has lesser leaves. On the side where it looks to the light, it has lots of leaves. Here on the topmost shelf I have my pothos, which I propagated, as I told you before. I have three different kind of pothos here. This variegated one, and this one has more lighter leaves. See, and that one is golden poto, silver, not golden, silver poto. I love this one. It has so pretty leaves. Look at this. And I have here my orchids. Somebody on the comments asked about the update, how these orchids doing. These orchids I found from the trash. I found lots of orchids from the trash, and some of them died. It's not because of me. They had a mealybug problem. I fought with the mealybugs for years. For 2 years I fought with them, and then I found how to solve that problem. I found the way. I had a video about that. You can watch that video if you want to learn how to get rid of mealybugs. And here I have my other orchids. Some of them are growing in cola bottle. They are doing great. As you see, lots of air roots, and the plant is pretty healthy. And one of them is blooming in cola bottle. And here I have one frozen Phalaenopsis orchid here. This orchid I need to save. I have to make a video about this orchid. I need to show how to deal with this problem and what to do. And here I have different kind of flowers, orchids, and different flowers I have here. I forgot the name of that plant. It's a type of African violet, but it's not. Gloxinia. It was Gloxinia. I propagated it from the leaf. The first, the first one. My son doesn't recognize the flowers. That one, the first one. Yes, this one. Yeah. And here on the windowsill, I have other plant. My Amaryllis. It bloomed out, and I'm waiting until this flower spike will die naturally, because all the nutrients will go back to the bulb, and when it's completely dry I can take out this spike. And here with you I put one flower spike which was broken in this vase, as you see. Two of the flowers died. They didn't sit for me, and two of the flowers they decided to sit for me, and this spike is getting bad and smelly, and I cut every time I cut and put in water. I want to see what will happen. Last year from this one, from the white one, I had lots of seeds and I planted in summertime. I planted in its own pot. I had small tiny baby bulbs, but then I didn't take care of. Sometimes I forget to water, that way they died. They couldn't survive. And let's move on. Here, let's talk about, here I have my ZZ plants. I propagated them also, and they are doing great. I need to make a video about the single plant which I have. I wish I have more time and show you my experiences and my problems in growing these plants. And in the laundry room I have other plants. This is my laundry room, and in this room I have lots of plants. On this table I have here I have plants, and I have here my Hoya, heart-shaped Hoya, Valentine's Hoya they call it, and these calancho plants, they are blooming, and now these flowers are fading. Look at the flowers, how long they are. Look, it's amazing. And these calanchos I showed you, I propagated them from the flower spike. It was from the bouquet. It was propagated from the bouquet. And here, as you see, they are full of buds. They are ready to bloom. Look at this. I have white one here, yellow, pink. Here is a pink one. All of them are in buds. Here I have yellow one again. They are long size, and all of them want to bloom. Here I have buds ready to bloom, and here, as you see, and my oleander plant is blooming. It's in full bloom, and it has some buds which are going to bloom again. And on the shelf I have my Hoyas, my Hoya Vayeti, the first one, and the second one is Hoya Hindu rope. They're growing pretty healthy. And my Carnosa, Hoya Carnosa, which is hanging over there under the Hoya Vayeti, yes, that one. And I have lots of Hoya Carnosas which I propagated from the dying Hoya, and I made a video about these Hoyas. They are still pretty and healthy. Look at this, how they are growing. Let me take one of them and show you. They are climbing somewhere. Look, they are full of pot, and still I don't have any drainage hole. Look how they're growing good. And I have here Hoya Snow Cap. It's big. Oh, it bloomed for me. Look at this. I didn't even notice. This is Hoya Snow Cap, and it's forming new buds again here. Now I see that it's blooming. I wish if I could see these blooms when they were fresh. Now I don't know how many days ago it bloomed, but this Hoya doesn't stay long. The flowers, I mean, look at them, they fell off. And I have here, sorry cat, I have here my Begonia. I propagated this from a single leaf. Look at the babies, how they are growing. Lots of them. From one leaf I can have so many begonias. When my begonia leaves die from the base, I just take them and insert in the medium, you know, growing medium, and I can have lots of begonias. See, I have lots of different kind of plants. Here I have some cactus, some other plants. And again, I have hibiscus, I have a Dracaena, my palm tree here. All kind of plants are doing, I'm making jungle in this room. Look. I have my mother-in-law tongue snake plant there. And look at the Oleander plant, how it's growing, how it's blooming. It's so pretty, pink and whitish color. And of course I have here my Plumerias. All of them are here. I have hard time with them to keep in winter time because this plant always has spider mites. I spray neem oil. I do whatever I can do. Sometimes I don't have time to take care of this plant, and again I have spider mites in here. I'm fighting with the spider mites whole winter. Every year I have this problem with this plant. Only this plant. Other plants, I don't know why they are not getting infested with the spider mites. Here are my hibiscus again. It's growing huge size also under this growing light. And over there I have again plants. I have different kind of plants. And I have here my Gardenia. Here I have Gardenia plant. I propagated this plant in summertime. Look at these buds. It's soon I will see the flowers from this Gardenia. And what I want to show you here, look at this Tradescantia plant, Jewish, how they call it, I forgot. Something Jew, Wonder Jew or something. I know that this is Tradescantia, and look, whenever I have, when I pass from this place, some branches can be broken, and I don't throw them away. I insert in one of the pots, and that way I have lots of them. Look at this. Here I have one, and from this one, how many branches it has. Look at this. It's filling this space. Look at this. I love the color. Look at this, how they're shiny, and I don't know how to express my feelings, but it makes me happy. Look, this plant is filling this pot. It's giving beautiful view. It grows under my hibiscus in this pot. Look at this. In summertime I put some broken branches in this pot, and they are rooting very fast and growing very fast. If you want to have this plant, you need to have, because this is pretty plant and it's easy to care. You don't need to even care of this plant. You just insert in the soil and it just grows by itself. This plant is for lazy people, or who doesn't have time to take care of, or who doesn't know how to grow the plants. This plant just like for that kind of people. Look at this hibiscus. It's growing. Its leaves huge. And one leaf is filling my hand. Look at this, full of hand, and so healthy. It's because of this growing light. I love these growing lights. Here in the garage I have my lemon trees. Usually I keep my lemon trees during the winter in the house, but this year I wanted to see how they will do during the winter in the garage, because the garage it's cold. And this year we had the coldest days. We had 9 degrees Fahrenheit, and as you see, these lemons, they didn't die. They have dry leaves because not of the cold, they have dry leaves because I didn't water them. The days were cold and I was afraid to water them. I didn't want to freeze the roots, that's why I didn't water them. Now the days are getting warmer, and that's why yesterday or the day before I watered these plants, and they're doing great. Whole winter they survived, they didn't die. And see, these leaves are dry because of the water. I didn't water them. And here I have my fig trees in 3 pots. I have figs, they are sleeping. And in summer, in spring I will take them outside. And this is all what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. We will discuss more problems and more success about these plants. Thank you, bye.